I never imagined that a single lie, so small, so thoughtless, could dismantle my entire world. I hadn't intended to betray him. Meeting someone new wasn't part of any plan. All I wanted was distance from my husband, from the monotony of our daily routine, from the heavy silence that had come to define our marriage. So when Eric casually asked about my plans for Friday night, I lied. I said I'd be out having dinner with Kate, a colleague from work. He simply nodded, didn't press, didn't question me. Somehow, that simple acceptance cut deeper than I was prepared for. In reality, I wasn't going to meet Kate. I was meeting someone else. Someone I'd met months earlier at a work conference. His name was Daniel. What started as innocent email exchanges, work topics at first, slowly turned into casual jokes, then stories, then secrets I should have never shared. I kept reassuring myself that it was harmless, that nothing was real until it crossed into the physical. Then Daniel mentioned he'd be in town and asked if I wanted to grab a drink. I said yes without hesitation. Far too quickly. The place we met was discreet, a dimly lit bar tucked into a forgotten corner of the city, the kind of spot where people went to vanish for a while. We sat closer than we should have. We laughed harder than necessary. His hand brushed against mine, and I felt something stir inside me, something I hadn't felt in a long time. What was I chasing? Affection? Validation? A momentary escape from the emptiness at home? I chose not to answer that question. I pushed aside the tight knot in my stomach and let myself fall into the moment. Then midway through our second drink, I felt it. A shiver crawled up my spine, like I was being watched. I turned instinctively, and there he was, Eric, standing at the far edge of the bar. His eyes locked onto me. His expression wasn't angry. It was worse, utterly shattered, silently broken. Time froze. My lungs forgot how to work. I stood up too quickly, nearly knocking over my chair. Daniel looked bewildered, oblivious to who Eric was. But I knew, and in that instant, I understood that nothing would ever be the same again. I tried to call out to him, to explain, but Eric turned away before I could say a word. He walked out of the bar without hesitation, leaving me paralyzed in the wreckage I'd created. I bolted after him, heels striking the pavement, heart racing as I caught up just as he was unlocking his car. Eric, wait, please, I gasped, desperation choking my voice. He didn't even glance at me. His voice, when he spoke, was low and hollow. Don't. I wasn't. It's not what you think. I stammered, knowing full well how pathetic the words sounded even as I said them. Finally, he looked at me. His eyes were glassy, distant, like he was already miles away. You said you were with Kate. There was no rage, no accusation. Just emptiness. And somehow, that emptiness hurt more than if he'd screamed. He drove away before I could say anything else. I didn't return to the bar. I didn't even say goodbye to Daniel. I sat in my car for almost an hour, staring blankly ahead, numb. My lie replayed endlessly in my mind like a broken recording. You said you were with Kate. Again and again. When I eventually went home, his belongings were still there, but he wasn't. No note. No message. Just silence. Crushing, suffocating silence. I stayed awake all night, replaying every memory, every conversation, wondering where we had begun unraveling, wondering if I destroyed everything beyond repair. The next morning, I texted him, "Please come home. Let me explain."
He didn't reply.
Calls went straight to voicemail. In desperation, I called Kate, hoping she might cover for me, help me salvage the mess I'd made. But Eric had already spoken to her. I had burned the last bridge I had. Days dragged by. Then weeks. Finally, a message came. Just a single clinical line. "I've moved into a temporary place. Only contact me for legal issues or matters about the house." I stared at that message for hours, the lump in my throat tightening until it felt like I'd choke. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. My world felt like shattered glass underfoot, jagged, painful, impossible to navigate. I drafted apology, letters I never sent. I thought about driving to wherever he was staying, just to see him, to beg for a chance. But I didn't. because deep down I knew I didn't deserve to ask. Weeks faded into months. He filed for legal separation quietly. No dramatic confrontations. No messy fights. That wasn't Eric's way. His revenge was colder than anger. He simply erased me, like I'd never existed. That's what broke me most. Not the end of the marriage itself, but the way he looked at me in that bar, like I was a stranger, someone he'd never trusted, never loved. And maybe he was right. Maybe I didn't recognize myself anymore either. Now, I carry the weight of a single moment, a single glance across a dim bar that unraveled the life I thought I wanted to escape from. One careless lie cost me the only man who ever spoke the truth to me, even when it hurt, especially when it mattered.